Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's Movie Minutes, we'll look at 616 Wilford Lane, a horror film from 2021. The film begins with a disturbing moment caught on CCTV. Late at night, a young boy awakens, quietly heads to the kitchen, and takes a gun. What follows is a terrifying sequence where he tragically kills his parents, then his younger sister, before turning the weapon on himself. This horrific act occurs in their home at 616 Wilford Lane, setting a grim and foreboding atmosphere for the dark and mysterious events that lie ahead as we uncover the secrets within this haunted house. We are then taken to David, a man who recently lost his wife. Seeking a new beginning, he relocates with his two teenage daughters, Alex and Rachel, to a new house on Wilford Lane. They are all struggling to cope with the loss, especially David, who wants to put the past behind him by moving into a quiet neighborhood. The family moves into 616 Wilford Lane, a seemingly peaceful, spacious home. Initially, they are happy to start afresh, but there are subtle signs that something is off. The house seems a bit too perfect, and the neighbors seem slightly distant. As they start to settle in, strange occurrences begin to happen, unexplainable noises and objects moving on their own. The eerie events in the house start to intensify. The daughters, Alex and Rachel, begin experiencing strange visions. Rachel, the younger one, notices things out of the corner of her eye, shadowy figures moving around. Alex becomes increasingly withdrawn as she feels a heavy, malevolent presence lurking in the house. One night, after a particularly alarming encounter where both sisters hear strange noises and witness objects moving on their own, they decide to call the police. When the officers arrive, however, they find no evidence of the paranormal occurrences. The police, skeptical of their claims, suggest that stress and grief over their mother's death may be playing tricks on their minds. Despite their report, the strange and sinister events in the house continue, leaving Alex and Rachel more isolated and terrified. The authorities' inability to help only adds to the tension, making the sisters feel trapped in a house that seems to have a life of its own. There are classic haunted house moments: creaking floors, whispering voices, and sudden temperature drops. The haunting seems to focus on Rachel more intensely, as she starts having terrifying nightmares. These dreams feature a mysterious woman who seems to be linked to the house's dark past. After Alex and Rachel's initial encounter with the strange forces in their home and the lack of support from the police, they turn to the local mayor for assistance. The mayor, who is aware of the house's dark past but chooses not to reveal everything, downplays their concerns, suggesting that the house's history is merely a local legend designed to attract curious tourists. However, as the situation worsens, it becomes clear that the mayor knows more than he is letting on. His reluctance to intervene hints at a deeper connection between him and the house. The mayor's role adds another layer of mystery and suspicion, intensifying the girls' isolation as they realize they can't rely on the authorities or local officials to help them escape the malevolent presence that continues to torment them. Meanwhile, David is trying to remain rational. He doesn't believe in the supernatural and tries to convince himself that these experiences are just a result of the stress from moving and their emotional turmoil after losing his wife. But as things get worse, even he can't deny that something is very wrong. At this point, David starts digging into the history of 616 Wilford Lane. David discovers that their new home has a grisly history. Years earlier, a woman named Alice lived in the house and was involved in a series of gruesome murders. She was disturbed and eventually killed her own family. The haunting, they realize, is connected to Alice's violent past, and her spirit now haunts the house, seeking vengeance or resolution. As the spirit of Alice becomes more powerful, the family is terrorized relentlessly. The haunting becomes more violent, furniture is thrown around, and ghostly apparitions torment the daughters. Rachel is especially targeted by the spirit, as Alice's ghost seems to have a particular fixation on her. Alex, on the other hand, starts acting strangely, as if under the influence of the house. Without giving away too much, the climax of the film reveals a significant twist about the nature of the hauntings and the family's connection to the house. The truth about Alice's tragic past, the murders, and how they tie into David's family slowly comes to light. There is a shocking revelation that explains why the house was particularly drawn to this family, making the haunting much more personal and terrifying. In the end, David and his daughters are forced to confront the malevolent spirit head-on. They must fight for their lives as the supernatural forces within 616 Wilford Lane reach their peak. The movie builds tension with psychological horror and supernatural terror, leading to a dramatic and intense final showdown between the family and the ghost of Alice.